Hi, my name is Onoche Chukwode, and in this course, I will introduce the essential skills to using Revit to design and model a house. Now, this course is aimed at people completely new to Autodesk Revit. There is no need to have any previous experience in the software. We are going to start right at the beginning and work our way through step by step. We'll start with the basics, such as designing the building, creating the floor plans with walls, doors, and windows. Next, we will learn how to model floors, create stairs and railings, and even how to model roofs. Then we will discuss model in place for facade designs and modeling the site, applying materials, adjusting the visibility graphics. This is the part 1 of a 2-part course. In this part, we'll be focusing on designing the building, modeling the building, and making the model look more presentable with the help of materials and visibility graphics. In the second part, we shall focus on presentation and working drawings. Now, inside the exercise file, you will find the components and profiles that are used for this course. You can get this from the link which I will attach to the description, so do well to check that out. Before we get started, if this is your first time watching my channel, I welcome you. This is simple or difficult. In this channel, we discuss stuff that help architects produce BIM compliant models and hyper-realistic renders. If those are things you are interested in, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on notification so as not to miss future contents from this channel, because I drop helpful videos like this twice every week. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's go into Revit and model our first building. So the first thing I want to do is create my new file. Okay, so how do I do that? I click on new, then I'm going to use this template, but I don't want to use this template. I want to use a more simpler template. So what I want you to do is click on this browse over here. Okay, and then I'm going to change it to metric. Okay, I'll come out of there and just go into English alone, and then I can use default metric. That is what I want to use. It is simple. It is very good for beginners. All right, so and I want you to focus on architecture, because what we're going to be doing mostly in this video is architecture. So I'm going to hit OK. All right, so when you come over here, you're going to see a very simple, project browser and a simple scene. All right, so that is the main reason why I even want us to use this particular template. All right, if this is your first time opening Revit, welcome. This is your user interface. Okay, above here we have the ribbon. Okay, above the ribbon we have the quick access toolbar. This is where you get some tools that you use all the time. You can customize this. You can add tools that you want. Okay, you can customize and add tools that you want in here. You can even change where it is being. You can dock it below the ribbon, so you can add more tools. All right, but it feels almost natural being up there. All right, so in this ribbon we have 2 parts. Okay, this is the ribbon itself. Actually, we have 3 parts. This is the ribbon itself. You can select the tools that you want to use, and all these tools are categorized, in tabs. Like right now, I'm in architecture tab in the ribbon, and now you can do architectural stuff under this architectural tab of the ribbon. So if I want to do structural stuff, you click on the structural tab on the ribbon. It will bring us structural tools and components that you can use to model a building. All right, the same as steel, precast, and then system. Now, when you get to insert, it gives you ability to import things into this scene. Things like, Revit, things like IFC files, CAD files, and then point cloud topography, all those things, you can import them using this tab. So when you come here, you now see, what you want to do, and then click on it and import it. Now you have the annotate tab. Annotate tab is what you use to do your dimensioning, what you use to add details to your work, what you use to draw lines, what you use to do, all those components and all those things. This is where you get them. Add additional details, color it, color fill for your floor plans, all those things. And then symbols. You come over here and you do all those things. Then when you come to analyze, this is where you do your analysis, where you do your space, analysis. Okay, when you do your zoning, then paneling, all those things, you do the analysis here. And also, like every other thing, you can use your color fill, to fill it. Energy optimization, electrical analysis, route analysis, work plane, all those things, structural analysis, you can do them from this tab. Then you have the master and site tab. This is where you do your topography, topo solids and all that. Do your massing too. Okay, in place mass, all those things, you do them from this tab. Okay, this is a beginner's tutorial, We are not going to be talking about all those things. We're going to be working mainly using this architecture tab. The manage is where you manage the links and everything, materials that you brought in. You do generative design from here. You manage your project, the design options, okay, additional settings, all those things, you do them from here. You also manage your project parameters and project units and project information. All those things can be managed here. Okay, so add-ins, when you start adding plugins to your Revit, adding like all those things, they are going to appear here. The ones that will appear, some will even create tabs for themselves on your ribbon. Okay, modify is what you use to edit. Okay, edit further. Now, when I place a wall into this scene, I can use the tools on this modify tab to edit them even more. You can also see the dimension. Okay, the dimension, when I click it, it brings out other dimension. Then I will select the one I actually want. Now, remember I told you that this ribbon, okay, the Revit ribbon has 3 parts. The first part is these tabs on the ribbon. Use it to switch the ribbon that is displaying. The second one is the ribbon itself. Now, the third part, you look down here, you are going to see names. Okay, those are called panels. All right, this panel is what Revit uses to categorize these tools. Like when I come to architecture tab, now you're going to see the build panel. Okay, all the tools you need to build your house inside Revit, you will find inside this build panel, okay, of the ribbon. Then circulation gives you the tools for circulation, the railing, the ramps, and the stairs. All right, the model gives you model test, model, okay. So when you look at them, you find out that Revit tried to group the tools for you, and these groupings are called the panels. All right, now over here, you're going to see the properties palette. This is called the properties palette. It does, basically 4 things for you. It houses your type selector. Now, when I select the wall tool, you're going to see this on top of here. With this, I can select the type of wall I want. This is called the type selector. So when you come over here and you click on it, it is going to give you options to select the type of wall you want to use. Revit calls this the type selector. Now, when I do this, you can see that because I selected wall now, I now have the ability to edit the instance parameters of this. So outside here, I can do this. Is the second thing now. I can also edit the instance parameter of the object that I selected. Okay. Now, when I select this, when I place it, okay, and then I click the modify tab, so I'm not selecting the wall again. All right, and I select the wall again. I can also be able to change the type of wall I want. I select the type of wall I want, and I also be able to edit the instance parameter of this wall. Okay, instance parameters are the parameters that you can alter for just this wall alone. Even though we have several walls like this, several 200mm basic wall, generic basic wall, I will do this setting, and it will affect only this element, not the entire category of walls. Okay, not the entire 200mm basic generic walls in this project file. Okay, so now, but if I want to do, if I want to edit this wall in a way that is going to affect every single 200mm, this is where the name of the wall is. So when I am referring to it, so you understand, 200mm wall. Now you talk about editing the type parameter of this wall. So when I click on this thing, now the properties palette gives me the ability to do the third thing that it does, editing the type parameter. So whatever change I make to this, it is going to affect every single 200mm basic wall in this project file. Okay, so this is the third thing it does. What is the fourth thing that it does? Now, when I'm not selecting anything, I'm not selecting anything right now. This properties palette gives me the ability to make changes to this view. Okay, what view am I in? When you look at your drawing area, you see the tab over here. This is the level 1 view. Okay, if I go to the site view, I can now edit this. How do you know that I'm editing this site plan view? You're going to see what it's showing you. Okay, floor plan site. That is what it is on now. So when I select this wall, it's going to tell you that I'm selecting wall in bracket 1. That one in bracket gives you the number of walls I am selecting. So if I have numerous number of walls here, what I'm doing is I'm holding down control and I'm dragging this wall. It is going to duplicate. It's a very quick way of duplicating your components. So when I click on it and select everything, you're going to see, okay, you're going to see walls 4. It is telling me that I'm selecting 4 walls. Now, you notice that when I selected this thing, I use window selection. Okay, now this is called window selection. Now there are two types of window selections in Revit. All right, when I do it like this, you notice that it has dotted lines. Okay, that's the first type. When I do it this other way, it has a solid line. Okay, solid consistent line. What is the difference between this? Now when I do it like this, I have to make sure that I'm covering the entire part of this wall. When I do that, I'm able to select the wall. If not, I cannot select the wall. Okay, but when I do this one, once this box touches the wall, it is going to select it. Okay, that's the difference between the two selection. Now, because of our time, let's keep it moving. All right, so this place I'm doing all these things is called the drawing area in your Revit file. Okay, the drawing area is where you do the work, where you draw the walls and put the windows and put the roof. All those things are done in the drawing area. All right, so down here we have the view control toolbar. This view control bar is what you use to control what you are seeing. Now, if I should go to the 3D view, okay, over here, you can also access it from the project browser. I'm coming over there to tell you what that does. All right. With this view control bar, I can change the level of detail to fine. It is going to give me finer details. There are some components that when you import them, okay, it is not going to show you all the details, but if you set the view detail, if you set this, okay, the detail level to fine, it is going to show you everything. Okay, not to mention we have the scale here too. With this scale, you can set the scale of the drawing. I believe you know what the scale of the drawing is. All right, so this is a visual style. With this visual style, you can set how you want your model to be showing. You can set it to be showing as a shaded file. You can set it to be showing realistic. That way it is going to be showing you, the material itself, okay, the way it is supposed to show. Now, I like to work in hidden line simply because it makes the system faster. Okay, here you can do sun part, you can turn on your sun part and, do more accurate sun settings that will reflect the time of day that you want it to reflect. What I'm trying to do now is like a quick recap of the user interface of Revit. All right, so this is where you turn on your shadows from. As you can see, you can turn on your shadows from here. Now, when I do my sun settings, I am able to set the direction of this sun. So let's say I change the altitude to 15 degrees. When I do that and hit apply, you see the sun angle changed. So that is what the sun settings basically done for you, and the shadow too. Now you have this is your rendering dialog. When you click on it, it's going to bring out these settings. When you're done modeling, you can render in here if you prefer. All right, so I'm going to close that. Okay, now this is what you use to crop your view. Now with this, let me show you what this does. I can move this thing here. You see it's cropping it, but when I click this other one, it will stop cropping it. So this crops the view that you have already set with your crop region. This box here shows your crop region. It shows the area of the drawing that is going to be cropped out and the area that is going to show. So how it works is that all the areas inside this box are the area that are going to show. The ones that are outside are not going to show, and you determine whether to show it or not using this tool down here, do not crop view. If you click it, the thing changes to crop view. All right, so this is what you use to lock your 3D view. All right, all these other things, this is what you use to hide temporarily. So when I select this thing now and I click here, I can isolate this thing by category, or I can hide by category, or I can isolate by element or hide by element. If I click hide by element, it's going to hide that particular thing. Let me do Ctrl Z. Now if I do, let me select it again. If I do isolate element, it is going to hide every other thing in this view except that particular stuff I'm selecting. Okay, so I'm going to hit H. There are all these things I'm saying, they have shortcuts. Okay, maybe after this video, if you prefer, I'm going to do a video explaining the Revit shortcuts, to you, to explain to you how it works exactly. Now I'm going to close this. I'm going to reset everything, so bring everything back. Okay, that's that for this thing. Now under the view control bar, we have the status bar. Status bar does three things. It houses three things for you. All right, so the first part is on this part, the right hand part, it gives you information of what to do next. Now when I want to draw a wall, I click on wall. It tells me click to enter wall start point, and I click, It tells me, now the next thing it tells me, it is telling me to enter wall endpoints, okay, and space flips orientation. Okay, so when I come over here and I am hitting space, it will be flipping the orientation. There is no difference from this wall front and back, so you may not notice when it's flipping it. So when I draw it like this, you see it's horizontal and vertical. Okay, so when I click, all right, it has, so this plays virtually. When I want to add, let's add a door. All right, so when you select this, you see this space bar flips the doors for you. You will not notice this, but if I should go to the plan and select this door again, you see with space bar it flips. Okay, I'm just hitting space bar. You can do that, you can try that and see what it does. So, and I was able to figure that out by looking at the status bar. Now in this middle place is where you work at your design option. That is way beyond the scope of this tutorial, so I'm not going to talk much about that. But design option is virtually what you use to create multiple design option inside the same Revit file. And when you do that, by the click of the button, it quickly changes the design option for you, so that your client or your boss at the office will now be able to make their choice which one they want. Now these are all selection options. Okay, this enables you to select or not be able to select some things. Now when I turn this thing on, I will be able to select link. When I turn it off, I won't be able to select links. When I turn this one off, I will be able to select underlay elements. When I don't turn it on, I won't be able to do that. So when you hover around it, it is going to tell you what it does. Okay, allows you to do this, allows you to do that. Now all these things that you can see inside here, you can also find them in here. Okay, so virtually the same thing, you can turn them on and off from here. If anyone I turn on here will go on here, anyone I turn off there will go on there, so they work together hand in hand. Now over here you have our view. This is navigation. All these things here are navigation stuff. So with this, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can pan, rewind, all those things. This thing does that for you. When you go to the 3D view, it gives you a different one. With this, now you can see this navigation cube. You can use it to navigate. You can also get this out from here. Now when you drop this thing down here, you're going to see other options. Okay, when you drop this one down too, okay, you're going to be able to select the type of navigation you want. You can select the mini one, you can select the full navigation wheel. That's not all. When you click down here, you're going to see other options. Okay, but these are all beyond the scope of this. I just want you to know that these things are actually here. Okay, so you can, if you prefer, you can go and then look them up and find out what they actually do and then improve. Now over here, you're going to see your project browser. Project browser is virtually what you use to get around in this project. Okay, if I want to go to the ground floor plan or the roof plan, this is what I'm going to use to get there. Site plan, ceiling plan, east elevation. This project browser is your train station to going around your project file, your entire project file. Okay, I think I'm forgetting one thing. One thing I'm forgetting is above here, you have your information center up here. Okay, from here, you can go online to get some plugins that you might need, or you can sign in from here and all that. All right, remember I told you that you can add new tools here. Okay, to do that, just come over here, get to any tool you want, right click, you see add to quick access toolbar, and when I add it, you can see it has entered here. You can add the align tool too. Okay, but it is only showing because it's here. If I should take it back up there, you see it's not show. So if you want it to show, you just click here and then select all those ones that you want. All right, so that is enough for user interface. Let's get on with the tutorial. Now I'm going to select all these words. I'm going to delete them. The first thing I want to do is to create levels, and it did the already existing level. Now I'm in the elevation view. That is why we are seeing this level. You can only see your level in Revit in elevation or section view. You can also see it in 3D view. Like when I go to 3D, you can see that you're seeing this level. All right, but we're going to set it using the east elevation. All right, so first, two things I want us to talk about in this level is how to adjust the height and how to rename it. Then we are going to talk about how to create new one in case you want to create new one. We are definitely going to create new one in this video. So this is the NGL. I'm going to leave it as 0, but I'm going to rename it. So you can either select it here and rename it from here. It is going to change the name. Okay. it is going to change the name for all the corresponding views. Or you can select it here and rename it here. It is going to change the name. You find out the name has changed here and here. Or you can come over here, click 2 times, and you're going to change the name. Now I'm going to name it properly. I'm going to add 00 in front because that helps me arrange this view by the way they come. If not, NGL might be the last thing you will see, even though it's supposed to come first. And then the ground floor, first floor will come before ground floor. I want everything to be NGL, ground floor plan, and then first floor plan. So I'm going to add 00 and then put a gap and then write NGL. NGL means natural ground level, and I'm going to say yes. I want you to change that with all the corresponding views. Now this, I'm going to rename this from here. I'm going to add 01 there, and then I'm going to call this ground floor. Okay, I'm going to click out and say yes. It is going to change it everywhere, both in the floor plan and in the ceiling plans, and here as well, and even inside the drawing area as well. So I want this to be 450 above the NGL. So I'm going to type in 450 in here. That works. Okay, Control Z. Another thing you can do is, you see, when I selected this thing, this blue dimension line comes out. Okay, this is actually called the temporal dimension in Revit. Okay, you can make it permanent by clicking this over here. Now it is a permanent dimension. So I'm going to select this, I'm going to delete it. And I'll select this again to bring out the temporal dimension. With this, I can adjust the height of this level. Okay, or you can add your own dimension like so. Select this and then adjust the height. You still adjust it. Okay, all right, so I'm going to select this and I'm going to delete this. Now you can see that these two levels are on top of each other. So for the sake of clarity, I'm going to add an elbow to this level. So to do that is come over here, you're going to see add elbow. Okay, you're going to see this zigzag stuff. When you click on it, it's going to add elbow. So when I add the elbow, I can now drag it around. That way, when I'm looking at this, I'm going to see the two levels and their names very well. Okay, so let's create a new level. How do we create a new level in Revit? In your architecture tab, over here in the datum panel, you're going to see levels. Okay, select it. Now, before you place, there's something I want you to notice. You find out that this level is actually snapping to other levels in this scene. So, and you want it to snap so that everything will be joined together, so that when you want to move it, everything will move together. Now, it doesn't matter where this level is. I'm just going to create it. All right. So now when I create it, I want you to notice something. This level is black, while these other ones are blue. It just means that this level is not linked to any view in this scene. So when you look over here, you're going to find out that there is no level 3, there's no nothing like that even in the ceiling plan. All right, so that is because I'm going to show you why that happened. Okay, let's go ahead and create another level. That is because when I want to create it, this was not checked on. Create plan view. If you want to create plan view for you, that means to make this thing blue like this, you have to turn it on. So I'm going to go ahead and check it on. Okay, here you now select the plan view type that you want. If you don't want it to come out in structural plan, you can choose not to add it. Okay, when you look over here, you find out that we don't have any structural plan. So, and I want to keep it that way, I'm going to uncheck it and I'll say okay. So now it's going to create only the floor plans. That is the ground floor, the normal floor plan, and then the ceiling plan. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to create it again. All right. So when I do that, I will have to delete this one because we don't need that one. Now you see that this is blue, which means, and you also find that I will have level 4 in here as well. All right. So I want this thing to be 3.1. Okay. No, 3.450. All right. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to type 3.450. All right. And this is going to be our roof level. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to type O2 roof level. Okay, I'm going to say yes. It is going to change the name all over the place. All right, so that is basically how you create levels in your Revit project file. All right, so let's go ahead and start our planning process. Okay, I'm going to open my ground floor plan. Now, we're going to be using a hypothetical site for this project, all right, and a hypothetical design for the project as well. So now, let's assume that we have a site of, let me use where detail line, okay, detail line over here in the annotate tab on the ribbon, detail line. Okay, we have a site of 17 meters by 30 meters. All right, so I'm going to select this. I'm going to add 17 inside here. That's going to give me 17 meters. Over here, I'm going to type in 30,000. I'm working in millimeters. All right, like I said, we work in metric over here. But if you understand, okay, if you understand imperial, let's say you're in USA or other parts of the world that use imperial system of measurement, you come over to manage, you're going to see project units. Now from here, you can set your length to whatever you want. In here, you can see even shaku. We have shaku here, so you can select shaku if you understand shaku, or you can select your inches and feet, fractional, okay, inches and feet and fractional. Select what you are comfortable to work with, or you might have to do some conversions while I'm doing mine. All right, so I'm going to close that now. Now I have this, and this is our site plan. Okay, let's go ahead and design our 2-bedroom bungalow inside here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to the annotate tab, and I'm going to select detail line. Okay, it's just basically going to be a box. Now when I do that, I'm going to add my setbacks around the building. Okay, so that I will make sure that we are right by the law. Okay, so this is supposed to be 3 meters. All right, and then another 3 meters over here, and then I have 3 meters over here. Okay, let's go ahead and start designing this house. Okay, I'm going to start from the front. Remove this dimension for now. I'm going to start from the front, move it in a little bit. Okay, to create my anteroom and toilet area. Okay, what I did here was I hold down control and I shift the line. I drag the line. Okay, hold down control and then drag. That will duplicate it for you. Okay, so this is the entrance porch area, and then when you enter the entrance porch, we're going to have the anteroom over here. Okay, and then the bedroom 1, the bedroom 2 is going to be behind. Okay, let's create the bathroom and the corridor for the bedroom here too. All right, so let me just go ahead and trim all these things, and then we can use dimension to make sure that we get the right things that we're supposed to get. Now this is our trim tool. Okay, how it works is it extends single elements, okay, or take it back. Now I want to bring this thing to come back to this line. So what do? You click on here first, and then click on the one you want to bring back. It is going to take it back. All right, I want to bring this one back to this place. The same thing I will do over there. This one like this, the same thing. Even this one too, like that, the same thing. So now let me create similar. Okay, you can right click, you see create similar over here, or you can use this icon here. This icon here also is create similar. Okay, let me terminate this over here. All right, and then maybe terminate this one over here too, because we're going to have bathroom, we're going to have the wardrobe over there. All right, so I'm going to add additional stuff over here. Well, by the time we start adding dimension, it's going to all make sense. This is going to be the kitchen store. So you enter this place, anteroom. You can enter the living room and the dining from here, and then this is the bedroom 1, and that is the master's bedroom, most preferably, because it's going to be bigger. All right, so let me start adding dimension to this thing so that it will start making sense. Okay, so dimension, to add dimension, you come over to annotate. You're going to see all the dimension. I'm going to be using the aligned dimension, so I'm going to just add this to this. Okay. So hit escape twice. So for this place, I want this place to be 1.5. That's the bathroom. And then this, okay, let me see. Let me get the entire space of the anteroom. I want this to be 6 meters. Okay, something like that. Then this is 2.4. Okay, that is enough for that space. Another 2.4. Let me use the temporary dimension this time around. Then in here, you can actually move this temporary dimension around. Okay, move the temporary dimension where they are getting around. So I want this to be like 4.2. Okay, that's big enough for that space. This, I want this to be 4.6. All right. Then here we can have 1.8. Okay, for now let's do it like that. Okay, let's see what I have in here. Okay, I want to move this entire thing back, so I'm going to add my dimension here. All right, so let me just do this. Let me duplicate this line. And make this 5 meters. 5 meters. All right. Shift that a little bit. Now I'm going to split this line into 2, and I'm going to use this trim extend to corner, okay, to trim that part, and then use this one to trim up this part. Okay, I still want this to, this one. I still want this to get up to this part, so I'm going to take that one to that extent. All right. Okay, so I'm going to select all this, and I'm going to move them to this location like that. Let me use this so I can snap to something. All right, so now we have basically laid out our, okay, this is laid out already. Okay, let me do the kitchen part. All right, so I'm going to create similar. All right, so whenever Revit asks you to save, please endeavor to see that you save. I'm going to save in my documents. I'm going to call this, okay, my first Revit model. All right, so when you are saving, there are a few things I want us to talk about here. You can see, options. This option, you are going to tell Revit how many backups you want to have. 20 is too much. Okay, usually I work with 3 backups, so put 3 backups or even 2. That is enough. Okay, so when you do that, you can now say save. Other things there, you don't need to set anything there, they are fine. Now I'm going to draw a line here. All right, and then this place is going to be our terrace, for kitchen terrace, and I'm going to make it 1.5. Okay, now we still have this, spacious kitchen for us over here. All right, let me see the size of this. This is 11 meters. So I think that is too much. So I'm going to do a bit of a design. When we start placing furniture, we're going to see exactly what we're dealing with. But for now, I want to make it like 10,800. Or no, 10.5. Let's see, 10.5. What are we having in front of here? That's 1 meter. Not bad. So I'm going to put this like this, and then we're going to have a planter pot in front of here, like so. Now we're virtually done with our planning. Okay, this is going to be the store. Okay, we're virtually done with the planning. So here I'm going to have 1-2 space between those lines. All right. So this is the planning. We have our entrance porch here, and we have the bathroom area. That's the toilet area over here. We have the anteroom spot over here, and then this is like a lobby that will lead you to this room, okay, to lead you to this room and to this room. And then over here too, we have another bedroom. This is the living area with the lounge and the dining. Then we have the kitchen here, the kitchen store, and then the kitchen terrace over here. Okay, now let's go ahead and plan the site. So I'm going to have the gatehouse over here like this. I'm going to have the parking lot over here too, like that. And then I'm going to have greenery going all the way around this building, stopping at the terrace staircase. Another one behind here, like so, stopping at the gatehouse. The same thing. In fact, I think I'm going to like have the kitchen area like this. This place is going to be paved area, and then I'm going to have a paving stone that will come down from here down to this place. Now let's get to the details. I want this to be, let me start from the gatehouse. I want the gatehouse to be 4,000. Okay, that gives out 5,000 for the driveway over here. Now I want the depth of this parking space to be 5 meters. Okay, and I want the width of this to be 2.6. all right, the width of this particular space is going to be another 5 meters, and then we'll have this 5 meters from the wall, from the building itself. All right, so this space is going to be 150 long. Okay, I'm going to drag this thing down. This is going to be 900 mm. This is also going to be 900 mm. These two 900 mm. So we are having 1 2 in between for the walkway. I'm going to do the same thing over here too, 900, and over here 900 as well. All right, so when the time comes, we're going to fillet the place that we need to fillet. In case I want to do it now, I just create similar. This is it, fillet arc. Okay, and I will just do it like this. Okay, we'll just make this 1.6. Okay, the same thing for this side, 1.6. Okay, and that's basically it. Okay, for this area, I'm going to leave it straight because staircase is going to occupy that area like so. All right, we're going to now have staircase over here that you used to climb this area. All right, can also have like a huge planter pot in here. Okay, that holds like flower. As you're climbing the staircase, you're seeing nice views of flower. All right, so I'm going to select all these dimension lines and I'm going to delete them. We are done with them for now. If we need them, we're going to bring them back later. Now it is time for us to start modeling. The design time is over. It is time for us to start modeling. So where do we start? We start with placing walls in this view. All right. To place wall, go to your architectural tab over here. Tap on the ribbon. You see wall over here. I'm going to select this wall. Before I place, I want to use 225 wall and then 150 walls mainly for this project. Now, on our type selector, you're going to see that it is selecting basic wall 200 mm. We have 225. I'm just going to drop it down and I'm going to select it. Okay. Now, I've already measured this thing. I don't want anyone to go outside. I want everything to be on the inside part, especially the exterior walls. Then for this interior part, it is going to be in the middle. All right. So, but before we do anything, I want to make some settings over here before we start off. Now, the base constraint tells you where this wall is going to be. The base of this wall is going to be. Now, when I go to my east elevation, you find out that the least level we have here is the NGL. So I want all the wall to start from that least level. So I'm going to go to the ground floor plan and I'm going to select the wall again. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to set it to NGL. Now the top constraint, I want it to be the roof level. That's why I want the wall to stop, the roof level. Now, if I start drawing now, it is going to start drawing from the center line. I don't want that. I want it to start from the left-hand side. So I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to select finish face exterior. Okay. I'll click like this. When I do that, it is going to be on this other side. Now the status bar tells me that when I hit the space bar on my keyboard, it flips this for me. So that is what I'm going to do. When I do that, see what it did. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw this. Okay, just like that. Okay. Just like that. All right. So we have done it like this. This is definitely going to reduce the space we have in here, but it's fine. We're going to adjust it as we go on. All right. So for this middle part, I want to make this in the middle. So I'll click using the align tool. I'll do it like so. Here too, the same thing. All right. I want this wall to terminate over here. So I'm going to use this to select this, select that. It is going to terminate that. Let's see the amount of space we have now. Now, when I select this dimension, you find out that it's snapping to the center line of this wall. Now, I want it to snap on the face. Okay, for it to snap on the face, I'm going to come over here and set it to wall face. This is actually called the options bar. Okay, it brings out options for, particular tools that you're going to use. And from there, you can make quick changes to them. Okay, so I'm going to select this 1163. Okay, 1163. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to make it 12. Okay, this is the adjustment that I'm talking about. So I'm going to select this. This is inside, so I can use 150mm wall. So I'll go and find 150mm wall. If it is not available, I'm going to create one. So I'll select this, go to edit type. First of all, duplicate. Okay, when you duplicate it, it's going to create a new wall, and then you rename that new wall to what you want to make it into. So I'll say okay, and then I'll come over here. I need 150 wall. All right, so this is already, let me go back, 164. Okay, so I'm going to, for the sake of clarity, I'm going to remove all these finishes for now, and I'm going to add 150 here. Okay, and I'm going to say okay, and then I'm going to say okay. All right, so now that I've done that, I will now come and start drawing from the wall center line. Okay, now when I select this wall, you notice that this new stuff comes out. Okay, this is called contextual tab on the ribbon. With this, I can select how I want to draw this wall. I can select whether to draw it on a straight line, or I want to draw it as a rectangle, or distance. So, or whether you want to pick, the lines. Now we have lines here already. Let's pick the lines. So I'll select this and I'll pick this line, pick all the lines. Okay, we're going to make adjustments later. Do not worry. Okay, so let me make the adjustment that I need to make. I will now use this tool to bring everything back. The walls that I need to bring back, I'll bring it back. Okay, just like that. Now let me see the dimension of this space. That's 1.5. That's not bad. So I'm just going to use the align tool and I'm going to align this to this. Okay. Now we're having 1.5 in this place as well. In here, we're having 3.9 and also we're having 4.50, which is not bad at all for the space. Now, if you have a desired space that you need, you can remember that our site is hypothetical. You can as well make these spaces bigger. Okay. It mustn't really follow it like that. Now over here, I want this actually to flush with this. So that's what I'm going to do. Flush it like that. Okay. So this is our kitchen area. let me see this, the dimension we're having here. We are having 32 by 29. Okay, we're going to have the dining area here, and then we're going to have the sitting room area over here. Okay, so I'm going to select these lines and I'm going to delete them. So I'm going to select all these lines. No, I don't want to select all because we still need some of them. So I'm going to window select this area. Okay, going to uncheck this. You hold down shift key, you can unselect what you have selected. Okay, like so. So I'm going to use the filter now to filter out only the line. So I'm going to uncheck dimension and then uncheck line, and then I'm going to delete this line using the delete tool over here. Select this one too. Okay, this is also very important to me right now. So I'm going to use this tool and terminate it outside there. Now I'm going to flush this with this, even flush this with this. Okay, something like that. No, let me not do that. Let's leave it the way it is. Now you can see virtually we have finished planning. So if I go to the 3D view, you will see the wall that we just added right now. All right, so the next thing I want us to do is I want us to add the floor. All right, so to add floor, go over to the architectural tab. Okay, in the build panel, you're going to see floor. All right, so I'm just going to click the floor. You will see floor generating 150. This is the one I want to use. Okay, I'm going to use it. I'm going to click here. All right, I'm going to stop it there. Now I have to make some editing. All right, so I'm going to edit this part. Actually, I'm going to add this part to it. So I will be using the modify tools to make the adjustment that I need, and then deleting the part I don't need. Okay, all right, so I'm just going to add this on the inner part of this, and like that too. I like to create my walls on the inner part of the wall so that you're not going to leave the double line mark of the wall on the surface. Okay, that is the easiest way you can do that. Now, when you are doing your section, you can now use fill region to cover up the part that is not showing as you might want it to show. All right, so that's that for that. When you are done with this, when you are up to this level, you can now hit create. All right. Now we have an issue here. That is why it is giving me this error message. So I'm going to just trim that out. And then now I've created it on the ground floor plan. So you can see it is hanging a bit. That is because I created it on the ground floor. All right. So you notice that our walls are not on the NGL. Don't be afraid. You can actually still do something about that. So I'm going to select all the walls like this, and I'm going to drop them down to the NGL. Okay, that will take it down to where they're supposed to be. All right, now that we have added the wall, I want to go ahead and add the furnitures. Okay, I like to add furnitures that will inform you where to place your doors and windows. All right, that is how I do my own design. So to add furnitures, there are ways you can do this. Okay, you can come over to component and click on components. When you click on components, you will see the components that are already available with the Revit template that you are working with. All right, if you don't see, like now I want to place in some seats in this living room. There are no living room seats here. You can load in new file. Okay, go to where the file is located in your computer and then select. Now I've set all the files that I need in here. Okay, you can change the view to thumbnails so you can see what you're about to bring in. So I'm going to select this. Okay, you can select multiple stuff at the same time. Okay, and these too. In fact, let me select everything and I hit open. It is going to load all those things that I just imported in. Okay, all the furniture that I just imported. Okay, override the one I need to override. All right, Okay. So you can see all the stuff that I imported are in here. So I'm just gonna place the rug first, set it where I need it to be, like so. Okay, and then I want to put my seat, okay, put that one there. I need to put smaller ones. That's the one-seater seat. This one, put it here, put it there. Okay, so make this a little bit bigger. Let me see what I'm dealing with here. So I want this to be 2 meters. This one to also be 2 meters. So that we have things that are equidistant. And I want this to be here. It is in the middle. All right, so let me place the dining to see what I am having here. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to place this one over here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so I want to place like a wall in between this dining. Okay, some to have some sort of privacy, you know. Okay, so I want the entire wall to be like 600. To be 600. Okay, 450 is still not bad. And then the space in between here. Let me turn up this thing. I don't want to be selecting the floors. Turn it off. I want this space to be 1, 2. And this other one to be 1, 2. Alright, so I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete. Okay, so let's see the distance we are having from this to this and this to that. Okay, I want this to be 6 meters. Okay, so let's make this 450 right back. Yeah, 3,450 over there. That's not bad. So I'm going to balance this dining in the middle of this. All right, so I'm going to delete this. Okay, now I want to put center table for my living room. I'm going to select this. I'm going to flip this using the mirror tool. Okay, there are 2 mirror tools here. We have the mirror pick axis. We also have the mirror drag axis. I'm going to use the mirror pick axis to, make it double. So make this thing big. Now I want to add my television. That's the entertainment, stuff. So I'm going to find it because I now imported it. This is it here, the entertainment center, and I'm going to put it here. All right, so I want to see the distance from this door when someone enters. Okay, 1, 2. Let's make it 1, 2. 1, 4. No, 1, 2 is good. I'm going to leave it at 1, 2. Okay, so we have that thoroughfare going straight down like this. Okay, towards that area. And then also can also have another thoroughfare here too, a sliding door or a folding door, whichever we prefer. All right, so now let me put beds in the bedrooms. Okay, so I'm gonna come over here. This is a bed. It's preferably, no, I'm gonna put it like this so we can have our television wall over here. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to trim this off. Okay. Okay, the shortcut for this trim is TR on your keyboard. You can set it to whatever you want. Okay, but for now, the default shortcut is that. All right, so I'm going to add Ottoman to this bed. Okay, make it look nice. And then I'm going to duplicate this. Sorry, I'll close that. Okay, when you double click on any component, it will take you to where you are going to edit it. So there is that. All right, so I've added the bed there. Okay, so I'm going to add this one over here like this. I'm going to change this Ottoman to the large one because this is the master bedroom. Now this bed is small. You can make it big. I'm going to increase the width of this bed. I'm going to make it like 2.4. Okay, let me add dimension to this. I need this bed to be bigger than this. This is 1.5. Okay, I want it to be 2.4. Now that's very big. So it is supposed to be 20-30 mm. Okay, by let's say let's leave it at 2 meters. Okay, so okay, let me just leave it at this for the king size bed. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over there as well. Flip it by hitting the space bar. Okay, and there we have it. All right, so maybe I am going to align this to this. Okay, shift this bed a little bit so I can have a wardrobe over here. Okay, and then trim this off, trim this one off that way too. And here I'm going to have 1050 so that it can enter 900 door. Then I'm going to use the trim tool and trim it off like this. So we're going to put the wardrobe in here, and then we'll have our every other thing inside here. Okay, so next thing I want to add the okay, let's add this. Sorry, not that. This, the side table. Okay, that's very massive. Make it small. Okay, I think it's okay like that. So I'm gonna flip it to the next side, to the other side, and there you have it. So I want to put some seats in the anteroom. Okay, I'm going to be using these seats. Whenever it asks you to save, please endeavor to see that you save. Okay, so the reason why this seat is showing like this is because of the detail level. So if I change this into fine, you're going to see much more detail of this seat, like I told you before. So I am going to put this in here, in between them, like so. Nudge it a little bit with the arrow key, and there you have it. So shift. Okay, just like just like that. All right, so yeah, now let's get to work on this kitchen. I'm going to draw detail line. Go to annotate. You're going to see detail line here. Okay, use it as a guide. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I want to put kitchen sink here, the cooker here, and the refrigerator over there. So that's what I'm going to do. Find my kitchen sink. This is the kitchen sink. No, not that. This is the kitchen sink, and I'm going to place it over here. Okay. I want to extend it a little bit. Okay. I want this to be 1.5 now. Okay. Let this be 1050. 1.1. Okay, that's not bad at all. Over here, going to place it here. Let me see the distance from it to the wall. I want it to be 1050 as well. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to drag this line up to this extent. Okay, I'm just going to bring in this one. I'm going to place it here. Okay, I'm going to set it to a thin line so that I will know exactly what I'm dealing with. Go to modify, select the align to align it to that place. Okay. Now I have my kitchen. Now I want to have like a floating cabinet here. So I'm going to just indicate that with a dotted line. So I'm going to go to annotate, detail line, drop this down, and then hidden line. I don't like this one that is greenish, so I'm going to just set it to hidden. Okay, that is going to do it for us. Now I want it to be 300. It's already 300, so I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, now I'm going to draw another line, create similar. This is going to be the storage, and it's going to be 600 from not this wall, the inner wall, 600. All right. Okay. Going to do the same thing for our wardrobes. Okay, I'm going to draw an additional wall here. Okay, I'm going to use the align tool to align it, make sure that it's aligning. Make this 600. Okay, and then bring this out to meet it. Okay. The wardrobe is not going to work like that, so I'm just going to keep it this way instead. 600. All right, so that becomes our wardrobe. Okay, so I want to put some bathroom fixtures here. So So time for us to add the doors. All right. So when you want to add door, come to the architecture tab on the ribbon. You're going to see door over here. Select door. And then edit them. Now I want to use panel door, and I can't find panel door over here. So I'm just going to go to my library and get some doors. So let me use this. Then I'll drag it into this place. Okay, now I can start placing them. I want one here. I want one here. Okay, I also want one here. And another one here. This is going to be smaller. Okay, I will see edit all these things. Another one, I want another one here. Flip it. Okay, so yeah, I want a smaller one, so select it, hit when you select it, you hit CS on your keyboard. Is going to duplicate that for you. All right, so now I want to get in a different type of door. Now I want to bring in a sliding door into this space. I want to put one here and then flip it and put the other one in here too. Okay, I'm actually omitting one over here, which I'll just put like so. So I want to flip this over there because this is where I want to put the window. So I'll just flip it and put it here, and then flip the door to this place, to that way. Bring it back in. Just like that. I'm going to select this dimension. I'm going to delete it. All right. Okay, we have our doors. Now I want to bring in the main entrance door. So I'm going to use double door uneven. So I'm going to find it. This is it over here. And I'm going to place it on this place. Like that. Double door uneven. Just like that. And there we have it. I'm going to have it over here too. Going to shift this thing a little bit. Like that. Okay. So yeah. The plan is virtually done. I'm going to select this and I'm going to nudge it a little bit to this side. Okay. Now it is time to add windows. Let's go to the 3D view and see what we've been working on here since. Okay, time to add windows. So I'm going to go to ground floor plan. Let me go and find windows for us to add. All right, so I'm going to import these ones. Let me import these. All right, so drag it in. Okay, so I'm going to modify these windows. This first one, I'm going to make it the width 600 and the height I'm going to make 1 2, and I want this to be 2 1. That's the head height of the window to be 2 1. Let me see this. Okay, I'm going to make this height 1.5 and make this 2 1 still. Okay. So back to ground floor plan. I'm going to duplicate this window. When you hold down Control, it duplicates the window still. Make that 200. So I'm going to edit this. width is 1.2. I want it to be 1.5. I want an even bigger window, so I think we'll just take this and I'll put it here. I think I'll bring in the three. Yeah, let me bring in the triple pane. Okay, I'll make this even bigger. Just have it in 3 places. So I'm going to have 750 times 3. We are going to have 2,250. So the width is 2250 and the height is 1.5. Okay. Yeah. I want it at the middle. Okay, I'll add this. And also match properties. You see match properties over here. You select it. I want to use the same window I used over there, over here. Okay, so this I'm going to use here. 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to create similar and then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to make the height 600 and I'll say okay. I'll start adding it everywhere that I will need them. And that's that for that. Make sure that everything is 2-1. Okay. Okay, so I'll select and I'll select all instance in view and I'll make sure that it is what it is supposed to be. Now I'm going to put this big window over here and then use this one. Okay. I'm going to select this and that. So I'm going to make it 2,100 for sure. All right. So I'll just edit all these doors and windows to make sure that they are 2-1. Okay. This 2-1. This 2-1. Yeah. Okay. So that is it. Let me go to the 3D view and look. Okay, that is it. Yeah. Good. So time for me to start modeling the other things that I need to model. So I'm going to do this in a straight line. Okay, this will be my entrance port. Need to make the place, design it a bit, so that's what I'm doing now. NGL still. Alright. Create similar. But this is going to start from ground NGL and stop at the ground floor plan this time around. Just like this. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to extend it to this wall. Same thing over here. Extend it to that wall. Okay. I'm going to do that same thing in order to create the beam. So I'll select this and this. Okay, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it on the roof level. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put it here, like an elevation view, but also in 3D. And I'm going to move it down. This join. Just like that. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to still take it straight to create this thing over here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so I'm just going to take it straight for them to meet there. All right. So there you go. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So on the ground floor plan, I'll draw a wall that will start from the NGL to the ground floor. That is going to be this over here. Just like that. And then I'm going to edit this. I'm going to trim it. The same thing I'm going to do over here. Going to copy it from here to here. I'm going to move it up because I didn't really copy it where it is supposed to be. So I'm going to move it up now. Remove the constraints. Now it is fine. It's where it's supposed to be. All right. Now let me create staircase. So staircase, I will now select monolithic staircase. Monolithic staircase is a concrete staircase. So this I want it to be 450. And then I want this to be ground floor, while this is NGL. All right, so I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, just like that. All right. Okay. So I'm going to say okay, and that is that. We'll copy it to the back, and I will rotate it 180, and I'll move it into place. Now we did this so I can drag it into place. All right, going to undo this and even hide it. I will select this and I'm going to delete them because we don't actually need them here. Alright, and it is fine. Okay. Yeah. Good. So time for us to create the roof. So I'll go to the roof level and then set my underlay because we're not seeing anything. So I'm going to set my underlay to be showing me the ground floor. All right, it's going to be a very simple roof. So I'll come to the architecture tab on the ribbon and I'm going to select the roof. All right, I'm going to offset it by 600. Overhang by 600 rather. Okay, so I'm going to trim the lines. I'm going to leave the slope at 30 degrees for now. I'm going to come over here. All right. I will select this and I'm going to edit it. I want this thing to be 15 mm. Okay, so I'm going to come here, I'm going to type in 15 mm and I'll say okay, and I'll say okay. All right, so I want to go to the east elevation to check something. I want to move this roof up so that we'll get it to where the roof is supposed to start, which is this place. Okay, and there you have it. All right, so I want this to come down a little bit. Drag it down. Let me see. I want it to be 600. So I'm going to move this up now. And then use the align tool to align it. Okay, just like that. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the ground floor plan and I'm going to draw the planter pot that is going to be here. So this is going to be NGL. It's going to be ground floor. I'm going to draw it like so. Going to align it. Okay, so it is time to add the roof fascia. I'm going to reduce this. I'm going to make it 25. It's time to add the roof fascia. Okay, so go back to the architecture tab. I'm going to drop this roof down. You see the arrow pointing down. I'll drop it down and then I'll select the roof fascia. Okay, I'm going to be using the top part of the roof. Okay, and then I'm going to be adding the roof fascia. Okay, you have to make sure that you're adding it to a consistent part. If you're adding it to the top part, add it to the top part throughout. If you're adding it to the lower part, add it to the lower part throughout. All right, so I want to add the soffit now. That's in place. You're going to see the soffit. All right, so I'm going to say okay for the ground floor plan, then go to the ground floor plan, and then, in fact, hold on, let me see. Going to apply it this way and it's going to create it for us. Now I don't want it to be, you know what, I'll say okay. All right, and then I'm going to align this into place like so. Okay, the soffit. So I will select this, okay, and then this. Let me go to the ground floor plan, and I'm going to use trim extend to corner to trim them into place. I'm going to say, well, okay, we have a problem here. So I'm going to hit continue. And then say, okay. Yeah. Right. Good. So I've added a soffit where it's supposed to be. Now you find out that it is huge, very big, bigger than what we need. So I'm going to go and edit this, and first of all I'll duplicate it and I'll make it say 75. And I'll say okay, and I'll edit, and I'll come over here and type in 75 and then say okay. All right, I want it to flush. And it is flushing, so but to be sure, just click here. Okay, that's flushed. Now time for us to place our ceiling where we need to place ceiling. Okay, I'll go to the ground floor plan, go to architecture tab. You're going to see ceiling here. All right, and I'm going to place it. I want this ceiling to be at 2,850. So I'm going to place it over here. Place it, place. Okay. So let me go over here and take a look. Okay, this is the ceiling. You can see it is flushing properly where it is supposed to flush. This also is a ceiling. Okay, so if I go to the ceiling plan, the ground floor plan ceiling plan, you're going to see all the ceiling that I just added as they are where they are supposed to be. So that's that for added ceiling. Now it's time for us to do the facade design. Okay, very simple facade design I want to do. I'll do model in place and then set it to walls. Okay, and then I'll do extrusion on these walls. I want to set the work plane where I want it to be. And I'm going to frame all these windows. So I know what I'm dealing with. 10 lines. Okay. Now I'm going to offset these lines. Click these two here, that's offset. And I'm going to, this is 600. I want it to be like 75. Just like that. Okay. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to copy it. Okay. I'm going to put it here. The same thing goes for others as well. I'm going to select this and I'm going to move it down. Select that. I'm going to move it towards the right. The same thing applies here as well. The same thing applies here too. Yeah. So I'll say okay. That's 250. That's too much. So I'll select it and I'm going to add 50. I think that's 75. I think that's okay now. I'm gonna say okay. All right. I'll say okay to that. So I'm going to do the same thing all over the place, and yeah. So this side too. Okay. All right. So I've added it everywhere I need to add them. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is add a wall design that is going to come up very well to this level. So I'm going to do that using the sweep tool. All right. So I'm going to go to the ground floor plan and I'm going to draw the sweep the way I want it to go. So I'll go to the component, model in place. I'm going to add the wall. Okay. And then say okay. Now I'm going to select sweep and then I'm going to sketch the path. Okay, just like that. So okay, now I want to edit the profile. I'm going to go to the south view. Okay, I'm going to bring it up like this, and then I'm going to add this. I'm going to take it to the end here. Okay, so I'm going to just trim this into place, and then I'm going to make this 150. I'm going to say yes. I'll go to the 3D view, so we'll see what is happening. All right, now you can see when I did this, it is covering a lot of things. Okay, first of all, I want to make some corrections here. I want to edit my sketch. All right, and make it, let me see if we can pass like this. Split this line. Trim it like this too. Yeah. Okay, so it is covering our windows and doors. I want to do something about that. Let me add this part as well. Okay. So how do I open up the window? I open up the window by using the void extrude. So I'll select where I want. I'm going to set this like this. Now I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this to cut out this window opening where I want. Now I'm going to do the same thing for all the window openings. Okay, just like that. You can do this in the elevation view too, anywhere you want, anywhere you feel like it's good. So this is the west elevation. When I go there, you see what I'm doing. It is there too. I hit OK. Okay, and then I'll have to go to the 3D view to select this, drag it out. See, it has now cut it. All right, so the same thing goes here too. This is the north elevation. Let me take it to north elevation this time around, and I'm going to create the void extrusion. Going to pick a plane. Want this thing to be, say, let me make here 600, and also make this place 600. Okay, let me add minus 600 here. All right, so I'm just gonna draw it like this. That one too, and this one, just like that. Just say okay, and there we have it. Gonna do the same over here too. And that is that. Save. You understand, how we arrived at this point. Now I want to complete the site plan. I'm going to do that using, on the Master and Tab site, you're going to see Topo Solid. Okay, I'm going to create that using the Topo Solid. First, I want to create the grassland. Okay, I am going to do that like so. This place is going to be the grassland part of the site. All right, so I'm going to add this part too. So I'll make it big. Just like this. So I'm going to select this part and I'm going to mirror it on this part. Now I'll align this to it. Just like that, and I'm going to trim it like this. Okay. Now I'm going to mirror this to over to this other side. I'm going to trim this like so. Okay. Now I'm going to have another line over here. Okay, so this is 8 meters. I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to say no, let me come over here and trim this. Okay, yeah, that place too. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the NGL. I'll make sure that yes, that's exactly where it is. Now I want to go. If I put it in shaded now, you're going to see the greeneries. Okay, so I want to go ahead. I want to go ahead and add the paved area. All right, so double solid, I'm going to select the asphalt. Okay, the asphalt area is going to be just this front area. So I'm going to pick it. Just like that. Okay, I'm now going to cover it here and here and then say okay. All right, now this, I'm going to put this at the NGL too, but this time around I'm going to drop it down by 150 minus 150, just like that. Okay, so when I do that, you're going to notice some gaps in between here. This gap I'm going to adjust by attaching this thing underneath the staircase like so. One more here. And I'll say okay. Okay, supposed to have a wall underneath here, just like this one. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to copy this one into place, come back to the 3D view and make sure it is where it is supposed to be. Okay, now I'm going to raise this up to where it's supposed to be, but then I'll raise this one up by 150, a little bit high. And I'm going to have another floor, another side that is going to be concrete all the way around. So I'm going to go back to the maintenance site and I'm going to make this concrete. Now I'm going to align it into place like so. Okay, I'm also going to align this into place here. I'll say okay, don't attach. Now I'm going to put it on the same place as this, and I'm going to do that using the align tool. For this gatehouse, I'm going to, for the sake of our time, I'm going to do that using like okay, I'm just going to model the exterior. All right, I'm going to model the exterior like so. I'm going to make it go from the ground floor, from the NGL to the roof level, just like that. Okay. I'm going to come to the roof level and I'm going to roof it. But this time around, I'm going to roof it with flat roof. Okay, so I'm going to use this instead, and I'll place it here, and I'll say, yeah, don't attach. Okay, when I select it here, I'm going to drop it down by 300. Let's see, that's too much. Oh, minus 150. That's cool. Now this has both the gatehouse and the gen house, so I will just divide it into two, like so. Yeah, and I'm going to create a wall opening here. How to create the wall opening? Select the wall, you see wall open, you create it like so. Okay, when I go to the 3D view, you'll see the wall opening over there. So I'll come back here and I'm going to create a floor slab in here, just like that. Come to 3D view, you're going to see it over here. So I am going to align this properly. So I'll select this floor. In fact, let me use this one. I will select this, align it, then align it properly to this. I will also select this and ensure that it's aligned properly. Okay, so now I'm going to proper alignment. All right, and also you can see that this part, I want this part to also have like thin walls. So I'll come over here, I'll select this and then add wall opening at intervals. Okay, I want this to be 300. Then I'll now copy it around. Like so. We're going to see it over here. like that. Okay, yeah. So now it is time for us to apply materials to this. First of all, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to add material to the roof. I'll select the roof, then I'll come over here in the materials layout. You see it's set at default material, which is by category. So I'm going to click on the three dots that is beside it. When I do that, I can now come over here and select the roof material I want. So I'll just type roof here and see what is available. Okay. Let me select this one, and I'll say okay, and I'll say okay. When I set it to texture, you're going to see what we are dealing with over here. All right, you see the roof? I want this roof to be displaying even when we are not in the texture mode. I'm going to put solid fill and then use solid fill instead. All right, so for this area, I'm going to edit the color of this a little bit to make it, look grayish, sort of. Okay, so I'm going to find a wall paint. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this paint, and I'm going to call it gray. In the appearance, I'm going to duplicate this asset. Okay, then I'm going to come over here, set it to solid, to this. Okay, I'm going to set the color over here too, and I'm going to say okay, say okay. Okay, for this particular wall, I'm going to apply white paint to it. And I'm going to do that using the paint that I just created. Okay, just like that. Say okay, and then say okay again. Now we have the materials, white and gray. Okay, you know what? Let me add a little bit of flair to this. Let me not just make it white and gray. I'm going to select this. I'm going to edit this material. I'm going to change the color a little bit. Okay. So I'm using only white and gray. Let me try out something a little bit different. Okay. Then I'm going to add some patterns to this as well, some brick patterns. I'm going to add this here. So I will put the solid fill color at the background, and in the foreground, I'm going to add a pattern, a brick pattern. So I'm going to come over here and select this particular brick. Then I'll say okay, and I'll change this to a gray color. Now you see it, but it is not actually doing it for me. So I'm going to change that to a black color. If that doesn't do it, I will check. Okay, I think that's better now. So this is, I will still leave as white. It will remain white. Okay, the way it is. All right. I'm going to add windows to this place, and then doors as well. So I'll just add it like so. No, this is too much. I'm going to get the double window. I'll add it here, and then get a door. That's 100 mm door. and I'll add it here. Okay, I'll make this 150 to 1. Ensure that this is 2-1 as well. Okay, so there you go. Now I need a staircase in front of there, so I'm going to just copy the one I have over here to that place. Because of our time, you can always do this. Okay, I'm now going to say okay now. I'm going to see the staircase. Now I want to, add a little bit of design to this place to, add to the flair of this, building. So now also, I'm going to just very quickly add, do model in place over there. And then do extrusion. I'm going to select wall. And then do extrusion over there. But then I'm going to select the wall I want. Make sure it is lapping above them. And then add 75 there. Or even 150. Okay. And I'm going to extend it like so. Extend this one as well. Okay. And then say okay. Okay. This 100 is too much, so I'm going to make it 450. Alright. Make it 450. And I'm going to say okay. Alright. Now this, I'm going to attach top to base so as to stop it from coming up to that level. All right. Yeah. So on this other side, I'm going to select this and make it show concrete. So first of all, the roof part, I'm going to duplicate it and call it 150 mm roof. Reinforced concrete roof. Say okay, and I'm going to edit it now, and then I'm going to type in concrete here, cast in situ. Okay, I'm still going to put the same concrete pattern over here as well, and then I'll say okay, and I'll say another okay. We are having the concrete roof. All right, that's very good, very, very good. So the next thing I want us to do, you see, when I change this thing to shaded, you see the way this green is looking. I don't have any problem, but I want it to look, better, the green to look better. So I'm going to go and edit it. The grass layer that is on top is what I want to work on. So I'm just going to set the foreground to solid. No, let me not do that. The background to solid color, and then the foreground I'm going to set to sand. Okay. And when I do that, I'm going to make it pure black. Now over here, this is where I will now set my greenery the way I want it to be. Okay. Now say okay, 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 and okay. All right, you can see the green now. I also want to edit it more because I really do not like the way that it's looking. Not quite, not really. I want it to look really good. Let me see. Okay. One more time. This time around, I'm going to get it. Okay. Yeah. This is not that bad. Again. So when you look here, you find out that there's something missing. We are not having curves. Okay. I want us to have curves in this place. Okay. So I'm going to add the curves right now. So I'm going to go to the ground floor plan and I'm going to go to floor, drop it down. You're going to see slab edge. Now, this slab edge, we are going to change the profile to be able to get what we are looking for. Now, when I go inside here, you're not going to see the floor curves profile. How do we get the floor curves profile in here? Well, it's very simple. To get it in, all I have to do is open this place, go to my metric library to where I have my profiles, and I'm going to go to the curves. I'm going to bring in this profile. Just drag it in and drop it. It has entered. So when I come over here and do to the floor and I select slab edge, I'll duplicate it and call this curves. Then I'm going to select the curve. The 16mm radius is the one I prefer. Now I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to pick it, just like I want it. Now, when I do that, you see that it is hanging. So I'm just going to use the align tool to ensure that it is not. Okay, you can see. Now, I want it to flush with this top place. So I'll select this place and I'll select this. Now it has flushed. And it's looking really, really nice. So I will select this. So let me get the dimension between here and here. 125. Put it back there. And then I'm going to offset it by 125. Turn off the copy so that you can just offset it without making a duplicate of it. Okay, exactly like that. So I'm just going to bring this one back using the align tool. I'm going to bring it back to here and then I will say okay. So when I go to the 3D view, you're going to see what we're having. Now it is time for me to continue this. So I'll select this and then I will just add it like so. I'll add more. Okay. Just like that. So I'll save this and I'll keep adding. Okay. Now you can only add when it is still the same floor. When it is not the same floor, you will now have to create a new one as I have created now. So now I'm going to align it to this surface like that. Okay, let me quickly add materials to this. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to create the material. I want to add aluminum. Okay, so I'm going to add the shaded material over there. Let's see. I want it to be white. Actually, I want it to be white. Add a little bit of shades to it. I want that place to be white, the part of the roof to be white. So that's what I'm going to do. And it is white. This place too is going to be white. The same white material as this. So I'm going to edit this and I'm going to copy this and I'll say okay again. I'll select this and edit it edit. In here, I'm going to just paste it, and that is that for that. All right, we're having what we are supposed to be having. Okay, this is supposed to be white too as well. Now I'm going to come to the ground floor plan, and I'm going to place the parking. This, I'm going to place it over here. All right. So I'm going to use the align tool to align it into place. And everything in between. So I'm going to select this, I'm going to delete it. Select and delete. Okay. So what I am going to do now, this area is an asphalt, so I'm going to just go and make it look like an asphalt even when we're in this view. I can make it a bit lighter, so that's what I'm going to do. Make it a bit lighter, so it doesn't, look so terrible. Okay, so hidden line, and we are still having this, which is not bad at all. All right, so we've basically done all those things. Now it is time for me to show you how to present. This is part of the presentation, the part that we added this thing, but on the plan, when I come over here, you find out that it is not looking good like that. So we're going to be doing this thing using the visibility graphics. Okay, so I'm going to press VG on my keyboard, and I'm going to go down to the wall, and then here I'm going to set it to over here. You're going to see the cut, and you're going to see the projection. So I want to set the way this wall is being projected, the cut line and the patterns. Now the cut line is what will set your wall thickness, while the pattern is going to set the hatch pattern in between the walls. So when I click on this now, and I add the weight to be 5, and I say okay, and then I come over here, the pattern, I want the pattern to be this diagonal cross hatch. Okay, and I hit apply. You'll find out that we have it already. So if I should do this, you're going to see it over there. Now this is a wall, right? I don't like the fact that it is showing, so I'm just going to select it here, and I'm going to hide it in view. Right click, hide in view elements. Okay, it has hidden that in this view for me. So I'm going to select all this, and I'm going to delete them. So when I come over here, you're going to see. But now I want this pattern to be even smaller. This is very big, so I'll go back to the visibility graphics. I want it to be very small. That is very big. Then what I want to do is click here and edit this pattern. Okay, I'm going to change the name to 0.5, because over here I'm just going to make everything 0.5. Let's see how that goes. If it is too small, then we might have to do something about it. It is very fine. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. But for some reason, this wall has refused to conform. It has refused to conform. Let me see. Okay. Okay, finally. It has. I don't know why this is happening. Okay, now you can see it has conformed. Now the next thing I want us to do, when you come over here, you find out that this window is not showing properly the way it should show. Even here too, and here too. The reason why this is happening is because of our view range. So it is not, being cut at the right place where it is supposed to be cut. Let me just make this bed a little bit wide. It's looking so tiny. Okay, so how do we fix this? We fix this by actually coming over here. You see view range, you edit it. I want to bring it up to, say, the cut plane to 2 meters. And when I do that, you find out that it has been cut properly the way it should be cut. Okay, and that is very, very wonderful. All right, so yeah, that was the wardrobe, that was the store. Now it is time for us to add the rooms and the room tags for this space. All right, so to add room, come over to the architecture tab, and then you see it will just create it for you, just like that. Okay, just like that. Now I want this to show the area, but I don't want it to show the room number. Now I want to go ahead and edit this, edit the family of this room. So I'll select this, I will change the font. I will change the font to Space Grotesque. Space Grotesque is a free font. You can get it from Google Fonts. Okay. You know what? Let's not use Space Grotesque. Let's use it. There's nothing wrong with using it. Okay. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to duplicate this. Make it 1.5. In fact, I'm going to make this one 1. Come over here, make it 1. You're going to apply that on all others. I'll select this and I'll make this 1.5. And then make it bold. This other one, also make it bold and red. Okay, so I'll select it like that and I'll move it up. Make this a little, no, leave it as big as it is. So I'm going to load it into the project and I'm going to overwrite. Now you can see that it is quite small. It is rather small. So I'm going to go back there and I will make it big a little bit. So I'm going to make this 2 meter. And I'm going to make this 1.5. I'm going to override that. Edit it again. I'm going to make this opaque and 2. I'm going to make this opaque and 2.5. Now we'll load it into this project and overwrite. I'm going to select the one with the area, just the one with the area. I'll make the area smaller. 2 is quite big. Make it 1.5. So I'll load it in and I'll say yes. Okay. Okay, here I'm going to name here the kitchen. Here, living area. So I'm going to call here living room. Okay, for this area, you can find out that this entire space is one space. So I want to be able to divide it into 2. So to be able to do that, I'm going to use the room separator. And I'm going to draw it from here to here. And then from here to here. And I'll select this. I'll hide this in view by category. I don't want any room separator that I might put in this scene to show later, now or later. So I'm just going to now add another room here, and then I'm going to place it. Select this and change it to the one with area, and I'm going to call this dining. Okay, so I'm going to name here bedroom 2, and then shower, bathroom, shower or bathroom. Okay, anyone you want to call it, it will answer. This place, I'm going to call this, master bedroom. I want to edit this a little bit more. I'm going to make it 2 meters. Okay, I'll make this 2 meters. I'll make this 1.2. I'll select it and I'll move it closer to it. And I'll load it in. Okay. Then I'm going to add more rooms to this. I'm going to add here. Select this and change it to area. This is store. Kitchen store. And then we have the ante room here. RM or your keyboard to add this, and then visitors toilet. So ante room, this is the visitors toilet. Okay, then we have a lobby in here. Lobby. Okay, in here. And then another bathroom. Over here for the masters. So I'm going to move this up a little bit so it doesn't interfere with anything. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for this area, we can choose to do something here. We can choose to add, kind of. Well, I'm going to leave it. I don't want to do that. All right, so that is it. You can see we have successfully created this. You can now come over here and decide to put your fence. Okay, come draw a wall and draw a fence around. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select this fence. I'm going to make it start from the NGL. Remove this and make it 1.5, small fence, something like that. And then add the front fence as well. But I'm not going to do that. You can do that if you want, but that is it for this video. All right, we have successfully created our building, a bungalow in Revit. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Not only subscribing, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future tutorials. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.